I was thrown into a novel, cast as the miserable freeloading husband of an Ice Queen CEO, and the plot began with divorce paperwork. The good news is that I have recently gained the power to read minds. Now, as I stared at my frostbitten wife, I could hear her inner voice cry, "He looks stunning today. Can we put off divorce till tomorrow?" In the text, my character was a throwaway, due to be tossed out in 3 days. The hero of the novel eventually destroys everything. My wife, Ava Sterling, the empress of the business world, would also collapse. Her firm hijacked and reduced to a gilded cage. And it began with the divorce agreement is on this table. My goal was straightforward: tear up the script and reject divorce and defend my incredibly icy but secretly tender wife. Anyone who desired to influence my life or my wife. Sorry, but to a mind reader, you villains appear absurdly exposed. Me, Ava, the lipstick looks great on you. Her icily is in a professional context. Do not use my first name. He noticed. Oh my God, he noticed. I spent the entire morning choosing the shade of Vixen Red. Height totally gets me. Me? My apologies, M. Sterling. In that situation, after work, could I have the privilege of inviting you to get a burger from that food truck on 5th? Her brows arch. Do not be ridiculous. Yes, let's go now. I want the double patty. Extremely spicy mayo with a side of loaded fries. No, wait. Be cool. Ava, be cool. Me. I understand, Miss Sterling. I'll go by myself then. Her head snaps upward. Ice like daggers. Stay exactly where you are. Who said you could go alone, you fool? How could you really leave without me? Take me with you. Damn you. Ethan, sign it. The voice was like ice cubes clinking in a crystal glass, freezing and without warmth. I lifted my head, my vision clearing to reveal a face that was nothing short of wonderful. Arched brows, eyes like distant stars, and a sculpted nose above thin lips squeezed into a harsh line. She wore a fitted white pantsuit, with her long hair pushed back in a faultless chignon, emitting a force field that yelled, "Get lost." This was my wife, Ava Sterling, the unquestioned queen of Olympus City's corporate world, a millionaire CEO with a heart of permafrost. And I was her husband in name only, a useless freeloader whose sole asset was a half-decent face. Our partnership was not a marriage. It was more like a queen and the stray dog she let sleep and die her feet. She might kick the dog away at any time on the glossy mahogany. There's a table between us. The words divorce agreement flashed at me in bold black ink. My head was throbbing. The flood of unknown recollection slammed into me like a tidal wave. Didn't I just do an all-nighter to complete a project? Report? How did I get here? The memories had settled and a cold fear rushed over me. I was reincarnated as I once skimmed a trashy novel titled The CEO's $1 Trillion Darling. In the book, my character is also the heroine. Ava Sterling's pathetic beginning spouse was named Ethan Hayes, a complete doormat who had abandoned his own life for the Sterling family, only to be framed, humiliated, and left to die on the streets. He got in the way of the novel's true male protagonist, and it was the beginning of my awful demise. Avash was divorcing me to make room for the returning hero. In the original script, I was supposed to burst in tears, dirt under her boots, and beg her not to leave me, a spectacle that would only increase her disgust until she had security throw me out. Are you going to act dumb? Ava's voice was filled with impatience. Ethan, our marriage was a contract, and the term has expired. Sign it. Papers. You received the house and $10 million. It's more than enough to keep you comfortable for the rest of your life. Her attitude was calm, as if she were finalizing a simple business transaction. I glanced at her, full of emotions, churning within me. This was it, the end of the line. How am I expected to get out of this? Right then, a peculiar mechanical voice rang in my thoughts. Ding. The host will to survive was detected. The two-phase mind reading system is enabled. Beginner mission. Discover Ava Sterling's genuine thoughts. Reward the mind before I could process it. Another voice burst in my thoughts. One agitated, a little frustrated, and unexpectedly cute. Oh my gosh. Why isn't Icy mad? Was I too harsh? Damn it. I knew I shouldn't have listening to Mrs. Gable, she stated. You can't be polite to a man or he'll walk all over you. What's with him today? He see him just watching, yet his eyes appear brighter than before, as if he's a different person. His eyelashes air stop it. Ava, get a grip. You're getting divorced. Be chilly. Channel the energy you expend when negotiating a 9-figure deal. Me? My head snapped up, and my eyes locked on Ava. Her face was still lovely. Unbreakable ice mask. Her eyes were calm, and her jaw was set, like a faultless statue off indifference. But in my thoughts, her frantic inner monologue was playing on repeat. This was mind reading. Why is you staring at me like that? Is my makeup smudged? No way. This is the newest waterproof, sweatproof foundation. Is the suit not scary enough? However, this is my most expensive one. Oh, this is horrible. He'll think I'm heartless. Monster. He is going to despise me. We're getting divorced anyhow, so the prospect of him loathing me makes my stomach feels funny. My jaw slacked. My overall perspective of reality was being broken. This industrial giant, this merciless corporate empress, was secretly a frazzled, self-conscious, adorable mess. Ding. Beginner mission complete. Reward dreading at the basic level has been issued. New mission. Refuse Eva Sterling's emotional state fluctuates significantly as a result of her divorce. Reward: 1x body enhancement serum plus 100 system points. Refuse to divorce. I gaze at the stunning woman in front of me. Listen to the lovely pandemonium in her mind. A bold concept began to emerge. To hell with the original script. To hell with my cannon fodder fate. Why would I give such a lovely woman to the filthy male lead? Ethan Hayes was officially going off script. I took a deep breath, ignored the papers, and met Ava's gaze directly. My voice was soft yet resonated across the large living room. Ava, may I ask you a question? She blinked. Certainly not. We were expecting this. She was used to my gravelly voice, not the serene, level expression. What will he ask? Is he about Tobin to know why I am being so harsh? Or call me a gold digger? Oh God, how do I respond without sounding like a total witch? She cleared her throat calmly. Go on. Ismold, reaching forward across the table to close the gap between us. In a voice low enough for only her, I muttered, Did you have a breakfast burrito this morning? With extra garlic sauce. The air in the room it froze solid. A fracture developed on Ava Sterling's glacial facade. Her pupils' lips were compressed and pinched so hard that they disappeared. In my head, a gigantic volcano erupted. How do you know? I ate it in the kitchen's corner, out of sight. I cleaned my teeth 3 times. I used to, Listerine strips. Does he have the nose of a bloodhound? Oh my gosh. Societal suicide. My final thoughts on my upcoming ex-husband is the woman who secretly stuffs her face with garlic bombs for breakfast. My ice queen. Persona is ruined. Ethan Hayes. You're an awful monster. Seeing her expression face. A tremendous fight between homicidal wrath and complete mortification. He almost erupted into laughter. I lay back slowly into the sofa cushions and picked up the divorce agreement and started fanning myself with it. $10 million. I shook my head and yelled. You are very naive. You believe that's sufficient to buy my silence. What about the garlic incident? Miss Sterling, you are demeaning me and the sacredness of breakfast burritos. Ava's face went through an astounding range of colors, from pale white to fierce crimson, then sickly green. Ding. Detected significant of Sterling's emotions fluctuate. The mission is complete. Reward 1x body enhancement serum kept in system inventory, plus 100 system points. The current point total is 100. Congratulations. System shop is unlocked. Points can be exchanged for a variety of things. I disregarded the system alerts and watched Ava with amusement. Her hands were gripped tightly, her knuckles white. She pushed the words between her teeth. Ethan, what do you want? What a jerk. He has changed. The old would never have dared to speak to me like way. And Noah was acting like a cocky, gorgeous jerk. No, Ava, focus. Don't let. He will distract you. You're here to get a divorce. I carelessly tossed the agreement on the coffee table. I do not want anything, I said, getting to my feet and looking down at her. But I am not signing. This divorce is not going to happen. At a minimum today. Why'd she blurt it out? Yeah. How is it possible that he loves me? I know it was a contract marriage, but he's been so wonderful to me the last 2 years. Ugh. What am I thinking? He's just a loser who married me for the sterling family fortune. Obviously, I could not just answer, because I read you're not going to let you go, and you're secretly adorable. Instead, I donned a profound world-weary face, sorrow inside. Do you think I don't know? You are in the thick of a bidding war for the South Bridge waterfront project. Your primary competitor is the Wagner Corporation. How do you think the news of our divorce would affect you? What is the current firm stock price? What type of ammunition would you give the sharks on your board? Ava was stunned. Thesesh had never revealed these important business data with me. How could this man, who spent his days cooking and cleaning and waiting for her to get home, could they possibly be aware of this? He knows about it. I assumed he didn't know that the first thing about business. Is he paying attention to my work all this time? I press my advantage, and my tone heavily on sacrifice. I know you've always thought I wasn't good enough for you and was simply a freeloader. But even if I am, I refuse to be the anchor dragging you down at this moment. I went over, bent down, and picked up the divorce agreement. Then, right in front of her, I tore it apart, letting the paper bits flutter to the floor resemble snow. When you've won the South Bridge project and cleared away all the vultures circling your company, when the man named Ethan Hayes is no longer needed as a shield, I peered straight into her horrified eyes and responded word for word. Then you can come to me with divorce papers and I would sign without a single complaint. With that, I turned and walked away, leaving her with only Mayim retreating back. Silence descended. Ava remained motionless for a while, but my men was treated to a 4th of July fireworks display. Oh, my God. Actually, he isn't doing this for money. He is doing it to protect me. The way he ripped up the papers. Oh, God. That was quite hot. Damn that. Why is my heart racing so quickly? Ethan, you're big idiot. A grin grew across my face, and I had to battle to keep it hidden. Body-enhancing serum. I returned to my modest room on the 2nd level of the villa. I locked the door, massaged my hands clasped in excitement. System. Use the body-enhancing serum. Ding. Body enhancement serum is in use. Enhancement is complete. A warm wave flowed from my chest to every leg down my body, which had previously been soft due to a lack of activity, felt supercharged. I could feel my muscles. My bones are stiffening. Even my vision was clearer. I delivered a practice punch to my reflection. The air whistled. The young guy in the mirror was attractive, and while he remained slim, his frame had gained weary strength. Thea's eyes were no longer weak. Instead, they shone with confidence. That's not awful. Not bad at all, I replied with a nod. In a tale full of corporate backstabbing and physical threats, a powerful body wasn't negotiable. The original Ethan was a weakling, which is why the book's hero defeated him so easily. Now, I had Themians to protect oneself. The next phase was to increase riches and status. I opened the system shop. A brilliant display of things blinded me. Combat Mastery, basic 1,000 points. Expert Driver, all vehicles, 2,000 points. Business Acumen Intermediate, 5,000 points. God-tier medical skills are worth 10,000 points. And their ultimate reward was located at the very top. Fate Reversal card, 100,000 points. US to entirely break free from the original novel's canon fodder destiny and start a new life. 100,000 points. I had 100. My major duty for the foreseeable future appeared to be finding inventive methods to make my two-faced wife's moods vary dramatically. This is something I can do. Just then, A soft knock arrived at the door. "Ethan, come out for a minute." This was Ava's voice, still chilly, but perhaps less bitingly sharp. I opened the door. She stood there, having changed from her power suit to a basic gray silk pajama set without corporate armor. She appeared softer, more feminine. Damn, he's actually in decent form. "Stop it, Ava. Ray meant to be having a serious chat with him." I pretended I didn't hear anything, looking at her with an innocent expression. "Ms. Sterling, is something wrong?" "Don't call me Ms. Sterling," she said frowning. "Call me Ava, you idiot. It's strange hearing you act so formal at home, even though I've never told you to call me Ava." "Ugh, this is so aggravating." "Right, Ava," I corrected. I moved smoothly. She appeared satisfied with that, the tips of her ears turning a little pink before she hardened. Expression again. "A bow before. Thank you for what?" I asked, pretending to be dumbed out for, you know. She plainly had difficulty expressing gratitude. Quick likening the subject. "So, now that you're aware of the South Bridge project, what are your thoughts?" It was a throwaway question. In her view, I was simply a home husband. What could I know? She was probably only attempting to relieve the awkwardness. Why was I even asking him that? What does he know? I just wanted an excuse to converse with him a little longer. No, do not let him see it. Act as if you're simply consulting a subordinate. I grinned internally. Shed just presented a chance on a silver platter. I paused briefly, as if in profound meditation. Wagner Corporation is going all in, which means their bid will be aggressive. Sterling Industries is a powerhouse, but its roots are in real estate are shallower than theirs. A bidding battle between two players has a poor probability of success. This was fundamental business sense. Ava nodded and waited for me to continue. "Okay, it's not bad, at least. He can analyze the essentials. It's an improvement over only knowing how to ask me, 'What do you want for dinner?'" I switched tactics. "However, I have heard that the heir to the Wagner fortune, Chad Wagner, is infatuated with a certain Twitch streamer." AA scrunched her brow. "Gossip. What is the significance of this for the project?" "How about Chad Wagner? That arrogant idiot who wastes his family's money. Who cares who he is enamored with?" "Everything," I said with a mysterious smile. "The streamer goes by Vixen, and her entire brand is edgy and provocative." I happened to catch one of her feeds and noticed a small thing in the background of framed baseball card, a 1950 to Topps Mickey Man. Ava remained bewildered, but she didn't interrupt. She noticed a new type of light in my eyes, the gleam of a hunter. "What's more intriguing," I said, "is that the man sharing the Southbridge bid is Deputy Mayor Thompson. And just so I got to hear that the deputy mayor is an ardent collector of old baseball cards. His most valued thing is a beautiful 50 to mantle was recently damaged in a tiny house fire. He's am devastated by this." Ava's breath tightened. She was beginning to connect the dots. Chad, the streamer, and the baseball Thompson, the deputy mayor. How does Ethan relate all of this? I smiled, dealt the final blow. And from what I understand, the streamer known as Vixen, her Laura's real name. Laura Thompson is the deputy mayor's only daughter. Boom. Eighth bomb went off in AAS thoughts. What? Chad Wagner is pursuing the deputy mayor's daughter, and deputy mayor are the primary decision makers on this project. Chad actually made a wise decision. Wait a second. How does Ethan know all of this? My own corporate intelligence team couldn't find this information. How can a man who stays at home all day, possibly? She lifted her head, her eyes wide, which felt amazement, bewilderment, and a flash of something she didn't recognize in herself. "Oh, how do you know all this?" she inquired, her voice dry. Could I tell her that I have read the book, and that the original hero utilized this exact piece of course not, I told her. I received an enigmatic smile and a touch on the temple. Sometimes the most powerful intelligence of the network is not established with money or people. It is constructed with this. I halted, adding the jaded tone of an experienced veteran. When a man has a lot of free time, he begins to pay attention to a lot of unexpected events, like which Twitch streamer is pushing the platform's terms of service furthest. Ava was speechless. Her mental commentary erupted again, pushing terms of service. I thought he was some amazing strategist playing for D-chess, but he was only observing the hot tub. Streams, damn that. Why am I not even angry? Why do I find this charmingly pathetic? Ding, the Visa Sterling's emotional state fluctuated significantly. Plus 200 system points. The current point total is 300. I had to physically restrain myself. I couldn't stop laughing at the variety of looks on her face. Teasing my Wi-Fi was officially the best thing in the universe. So, what are you saying? Ava took a long breath and forced herself back to her twitching eyelids. Betrayed her focus on the subject at hand. It's simple. I said, my fun tone has turned serious. Chad thinks he has a royal flush, however. He is unaware that Deputy Mayor Thompson is a notorious old-school conservative. The last thing he desires is his daughter got involved with some flashy new money punk. The more Chad pursues her, the more Thompson hates him. We don't need to do anything. We only need to ensure that during the bidding meeting, the deputy mayor accidentally Shad Wagner showers his daughter with money, and she even uses her father's name to receive rewards. I watched AA's eyes light up with realization. At this moment, I finished. Where do you believe the deputy mayor's favor will land? Ava understood it totally. It was psychological attack. Victory comes without a battle. She stared at me. Her expression is complicated, a combination of feelings. Is this man the Ethan I thought I knew? He didn't just see through Chad's ploy. He grasped the psychology of everyone involved. That amount of cunning, it's terrifying. Have I been utterly mistaken about him all along? She was silent for a long time. She finally spoke, just as I was about to lose consciousness from self-questioning. I know what to do. Her voice had regained its typical steadiness, but it had lost its commanding edge, replaced by something closer to consultation. You'll be joining me tomorrow morning for the bidding meeting. Ding. The main mission was updated. Assist Ava Sterling in securing the Southbridge waterfront project. Reward, combat mastery, basic, plus 1,000 system points. My heart leaped. Combat expertise is a critical survival skill. I feel surprise. I'm just a house husband. When I humiliate you in a situation like that, please embarrass me now. You are my secret weapon. If someone dares to call you an embarrassment, I'll rip them a new one. But all she said was, I told you to come, so you'll come. Stop talking rubbish, she added nervously, as if realizing she had been too harsh. Yadn't you even own a decent suit? Mrs. will occur tomorrow a.m. Gabe will take you to the mall to get something out. He needs to look sharp if he's going to join me. Yes, I will have him follow the Armani tradition I saw in GQ. No, that is too much. I'll let him decide. I don't want him to believe I'm attempting to buy his affection or whatever. To witness her dying of affection on the inside, while appearing to be a commanding officer on the outside. Almost laughed. Okay, I nodded. But the money for the suit. Ava glared at me and took out a sleek black card. Her pocket and pushed it into my hand. The pin is 68. Do not worry about the limit. Max it out. I want you to max it out. I have more money than I know what to do with. Spinning on my spouse. It does not hurt at all. I grasped the cool metal card, feeling the slight warmth of her hand still resting on it. A nice fire spread across my chest. This two-faced woman was ridiculously cute. Thanks, honey, I murmured, staring at her with a smile. I look you in the eyes. I told you it worked. She began to respond out of habit, but stopped once she realized they were at home. Her face reddened like a ripe apple. Oh, my God. Her called me honey to my face, and his voice is so soothing in your ears. Good. My heart is about to burst. Ava Sterling, keep your cool and come together. She spun around and virtually fled. Take some rest and don't be late tomorrow. Watching Harry couldn't help but grin as I retreated. When it comes to the Southbridge project, My goal is to win you, dear two-faced wife. The following morning, Mrs. Gable literally drags me out of it. She had been the Sterling's housekeeper for many years and had seen Ava grow up. She was one of my favorite characters in the novel. Critics, Mr. Hayes. It's time to get up. Madam has already left for the workplace, and she told me to take you shopping, she muttered, her tone dripping with hardly hidden scorn. Useless freeloader. Can't even wake up on his. If it weren't for Adam's orders, I wouldn't bother. I'm not sure what she's thinking. Bringing someone like him to the bid meeting is reducing her own position. I heard her thoughts, but felt no rage, only amusement. Thank you, Mrs. Gable. You're very sweet, but I can go by myself. I don't want to bother you. She paused. Why isn't the little leech smiling and sucking up today? He almost seems polite. She sniffed out her madam's orders. I have to accompany you to ensure you don't spend her money on some cheap rubbish. I nodded. Okay. Let's go together. 30 minutes later, we were at the city's most exclusive luxury shopping complex. Mrs. Gable led me to a high-end men's fashion boutique. Armani. The contempt in her looking at you in your worn-out jeans. The only thing you can afford here is to breathe the air. The Costco phone sleeve in this store costs more than your entire monthly stipend. So I ignored her and strolled on in. A police shetty was promptly met by a sales representative, who looked at my faded t-shirt and old jeans, and a flicker of disgust crossed her features. But her professional training kept a grin glued there. Good morning, sir. How can I assist you? Mrs. Gable followed me in. Crossing Harry didn't have the time for this. So I took out Ava's black card and flashed it at the associate. Give me your manager. Her demeanor immediately transformed, the fake smile blossoming. Sir, I am the manager. What can I do to help you? Oh my gosh, an AMX Centurion. Who is this guy? Some secret billionaire. Thank God I wasn't a snob. I indicated to myself, I need a full costume for a significant corporate bid meeting. Now, right this way. Sir. The manager took over directly, collecting measurements, selecting fabrics. And in less than 20 minutes, a new man appeared before the mirror. A custom-tailored deep navy Italian suit flawlessly complemented the figure I'd gained from the enlargement, serum, wide shoulders, a thin waist, and long straight legs. A crisp white shirt, unbuttoned at the neck, displayed a touch of toned skin, projecting an aura on my wrist. A Patek Philippe watch glittered with modest man in the mirror was sharp, sophisticated, and emanated an aura of elegance. Command. Even I was taken aback. Sir, you're a natural. It's as if this suit were made for you, the manager gushed. And for once it didn't sound like flattery behind me. Mrs. Gable wistfully frozen. Is that the freeloader Ethan? No way. You can put pig in a suit. But it's still he. How can he appear so handsome? He looks better than the actors on TV. Madam's taste. Could it be that she was correct all along? I approached her, got in close, and whispered, well, Mrs. Gable. Her face flushed a deep pink. It's adequate, she muttered. Oh Lord, he is too close. My old heart can't handle it. When did this youngster become a man? When I went out of that mall, I felt as if the entire world was looking at me. I grinned and turned to the manager and said, ring it up. This was the power of money and prestige. And I was just getting started at Sterling Industries. Top floor. When I opened the door to the CEO's office, I saw Ava at her desk, frowning at something. Document. She looked up, furious. Who told you to come in without knocking? Her words died in her throat. When she realized it was me, she froze, the fountain pen in her hand hovering above the page. Her gorgeous eyes were wide with shock and bewilderment. My mind was reading the system. Gave me a play-by-play of her mental breakdown. Who is that, Ethan? No. How is he so hot? That suit, the confidence. Am I dreaming? Oh my God. That's the outfit. That's the identical one I saw in a magazine. How did he choose it? Are we telepathic? Okay. Hard. The rate is officially at panic levels. I can't breathe. Ava, get together. You're a CEO. You've seen stuff. I watched, amused, as she struggled to maintain her frost. She walked up to her desk and leaned in. But her ringing ears and a little trembling in her eyelids gave her away. "So, honey," I whispered, my voice she a low rumble. "Do I embarrass you?" My warm breath swept across her cheek. She flinched back involuntarily. He called me honey again, and he was so close. Height smells so lovely, like sandalwood and confidence. Oh God, my knees are weak. She forced herself to turn away, voice stiff. "It's adequate. We're running late. Let's leave." "Oh." I raised Annie, softly grabbed her chin in my palm, and turned her face to meet my eyes. Ava's skin was incredibly soft, and she jerked rigid like a kitten zapped with static lightning. Her eyes big, his touching me, which is absolutely nerve-wracking. But why don't I hate it? His hand is warm. I looked into her eyes. Those pools of frost suddenly shimmered like a spring thaw. I pronounced each syllable precisely, yet your heart tells me you love it. Ava Sterling's brain short-circuits. How could he know? Does he really have superpowers? That's impossible. He must be lying. But my heart is thumping against my ribs. He can probably hear it. This is so humiliating. Dang. Detected ultra. Ava Sterling's emotional fluctuations are high, and she has 500 system points. 800. Seeing her appear so terrified, so flushed, and her cheeks so eventually let her go, completely happy, saying, "Just kidding." I stand up and give her some space, with a wicked smirk on my face. Your face is glowing red, as is your heart. Ava Sterling could only scowl at me, as if her looks could kill. I'd be a ball of ash. Ethan Hayes, you are a monster, a devil, and a liar. I'm 3 seconds later. But he really did look like one of those domineering CEOs from the novels just now. A lot better than that greasy hero who's always shouting, "Woman, you've piqued my interest." Me. A woman's mind is a mystery. Good thing he didn't have to guess. The atmosphere at the Southbridge waterfront bid conference was dense with tension. There was a prominent real estate player in Olympus City, and as Ava and I walked in together, everyone turned to look at her. Always the focus of attention. But now, the man alongside her was a subject of keen inquiry. Isn't that Ava? Sterling's useless husband. Holy crap, is it truly him? He appears like a different person, with guest attire. Do create the man. Clean him up, and he almost looks like a well-dressed gigolo. Why did she even bring him as a trophy? The whispers and mental conversations swarmed about me, remained unmoved, even smiling at a couple of the onlookers. Ava peered at me, seeming to see my serenity. He's managing this well. The old Ethan would be shivering in his boots by now, so I leaned in and murmured, "Do not worry. You are the star of the show today." The warm air on her ears sent another shudder down her spine. Damn it, stop. We took our seats in the front row, and soon, a portly man appeared, flanked by an entourage. Warren Wagner, CEO of the Wagner Corporation, was followed by a young guy dressed in a dazzling suit. His hair slicked back with too much gel, an arrogant smirk on his face. This had to be his son, Chad Wagner. Chad's icy jaw clenched as he focused his eyes on Ava, filled with a possessive greed. Minor antagonist in the tale, a stepping stone for the true hero, Ava. Long time no see. You're as stunning as ever, Chad muttered, utterly ignoring me as he swaggered over to her. Flushing, Ava scrunched her brow in disdain as he smiled, plainly thinking it was amusing. Repulsive. Scram. I think I'm going to be sick. She murmured a single cold word. Chad's smile froze. He had not expecting such a public dismissal. His gaze fell on me, and his expression if it isn't Ethan Hayes. What are you doing here? Oh, I understand. Did you take your pet poodle for a stroll, Ava? His friend snickered. Her face darkened. She was going to erupt, but I put a hand on hers, restraining her. Her hand was chilly, and I squeezed it softly in my warm palm. His hand is so warm. Ava's fury seems to vanish. By half. I gaze up at Chad, my face a veneer of pleasant friendliness. Wagner, it's been a while. You appear a little stressed. Chad scowled. What's that? I ignored him and shifted my eyes to a pale, nervous-looking man beside him. The Wagner Corporation CFO. Oh God, oh God. If Mr. Wagner discovers Chad embezzled business funds to tip that streamer, and I'm dead. Why did I agree to cook the books for him? All those eight only meant that you're a young man at the top of congratulations on winning his game, becoming a rising star in business, and finding love success. I'm not sure your father understands the cost of that affection. Chad's face became white. He assumed his big donations to the streamer vixen were hidden. Warren Wagner was no fool. He felt something was awry and narrowed his eyes at his son. Chad, what are you talking about? Nothing, Dad. Chad stammered, and I nonchalantly added, nonsense. I hear you died in just 1 month. The company lost $3 million, attempted to impress a streamer named Vixen. I am curious which of the Wagner Corporation's project budgets the funds was shifted from, Mr. CFO. Maybe you possibly educate us. The CFO's knees weakened. He nearly collapsed on the spot. Warren Wagner's face was now as no one expected Ava Sterling's notorious freeloader husband, who was as black as thunder, to appear. Ava looked at me in disbelief as he opened his mouth and dropped a bomb. Even knows about Chad embezzling money. How many other secrets is he hiding? And why is watching Chad squirm so satisfying? Ding. Ava Sterling's contentment is off the charts, with significant emotional fluctuations. Detected. Plus 300 points. I didn't allow Chad a chance to recover. Also, I assume the streamer Vixen's real last name is Thompson, isn't it? Laura Thompson. What a great name. Coincidentally, the man who shares today's meeting is Deputy Mayor Thompson. What a small world. My voice was clear enough for Deputy Mayor Thompson, a stern-looking man in his 50s. Had just taken a seat on the stage and could hear perfectly his hand, which was raising a glass of water, pause as he heard the term streamer. His demeanor worsened, and when he looked at Chad's scared face, his eyes filled with undisguised disdain. Chad was no longer pale, but gray, and he couldn't understand how his perfectly accomplished scheme had been exposed by a body like Ethan Hayes. He wanted to speak to defend himself, but beneath the deputy mayor's frigid stare, Warren Wagner was dumbfounded. Trembling with wrath and pointing a shaky finger, he looked at his kid, unable to form words, and eventually hissed, "You useless brat." Act 1 of the play was a resounding success. I took a sip of water and winked at the still shocked Ava beside me. I'm enjoying the show, honey. I'm loving it, Ethan. My bidding process officially began, with each business presenting their plans and bids. Wagner Corporation went first, represented by its sad CFO, who was so shaken. On stage, Warren could barely talk, fumbling his presentation and misunderstanding data several times. Wagner appeared deadly, and Deputy Mayor Thompson looked like he'd swallowed a bug. When it was Sterling Industries Sava changed back into the business empress. She strode onto the stage confident, poised, and delivered a superb presentation on the Southbridge project. Her voice was clean and powerful, engaging the entire audience. Room. My wife is incredible. That's my girl, I thought, encouraging her. After the presentation, the final bids were made, and Ava presented the agreed-upon amount. A number slightly above market value, but reasonable. It was lower than we had originally planned because we now knew Wagner. Chad Wagner jumped to his feet as the moderator was ready to declare the winner of court, which had been corrupted. I protest, he cried. There is an issue with the Sterling bid. All eyes went to him. Warren tried to stop him, but it was too late. Chad tossed a folder from his briefcase onto the table. Sterling Industries Finance cannot support a project of this scale. I have it on good authority that they already lost about $200 million on a failed last month. They received an international investment, yet their company is nothing more than a shell. If you give them this project, you're gambling with the future of this city. The failed investment was a closely kept secret at Sterling, known only to a few top executives. How did Chad find out? Ava's face became white. She tried to appear calm, but I could hear a tsunami of panic in her head. It's over. How do you know? We have a mole. What do I do? If this is confirmed, the banks will withdraw our credit lines, shareholders will sell, and Sterling Industries will be completed. I frowned. This wasn't in the book. I swiftly examined the room with my mind reading, as if my presence had triggered a chain reaction that altered the storyline. Marcus Vance, a vice president at Twagner, promised me a senior VP position at his company and $1 million bonus if I assisted him take down Ava Sterling. Don't blame me, Ava. You're too young and getting in the way of too many people. Of course. He was a traitor, and seeing Ava's silence, Chad became braver. What's wrong? Deputy Mayor Thompson's face was sad as he glanced at Ava. Miss Sterling. Can you address Mr. Wagner's charge? And all of the attention in the room focused on Ava. She bit her lips so hard that I was terrified she'd draw blood. Suddenly, a warm handy rose up, came to her side, and placed my hand on her shoulder. Reassurance pad, and took the microphone from her hand. I faced the skeptical crowd and the scrutinizing gaze of the deputy mayor, with a relaxed, almost drowsy smile on my face. Mr. Wagner's sources. My voice began smooth or unexpectedly well-educated. I had admitted it. Ava stared at me with shock. Ethan, are you insane? If you admit it, we're done. The chamber buzzed even louder, and Chad laughed uncontrollably. You all heard him. He admitted it. What more do you have to say, Ava? I ignored him and spoke clearly into the microphone. It's true, Sterling Industries had a little setback with an overseas investment. I paused, letting the drama bit. Who said that a poor investment had to result in a loss? The room grew silent again. Everyone looked at me like I was an idiot, but I smiled and let my sight drift to Marcus Vance, the trader. Our investment worked at a Silicon Valley business called Quantum Intelligence, which was seeking a radical new approach to AI, and they stumbled into one. Other investors fled to the hills. My wife, this against the recommendations of her whole board. Sterling made a seed round investment, which failed. I took a deep breath and raised my voice as Mr. Wagner discussed the investment. However, last night, at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Quantum Intelligence reported a world-changing discovery in their quantum computer concept, causing Wall Street. Every venture capital firm on the planet is now fighting for a piece of them. Quantum value in under 3 hours. Intelligence went from less than $10 million to me holding up Sterling Industries' sole initial investor, invested $30 billion, maintains a 30% stock position in the company, indicating that the $200 million loss Mr. Wagner was so excited to reveal has, as of yesterday, become $1.09. My voice boomed through the billion-dollar asset, which was our company's single most successful investment. Each word sent a shockwave through the silent hall, leaving the audience astonished and breathless. For 10 minutes, there was dead silence. Seconds, nobody moved. Their features were a perfect image of bewilderment. $9 billion. Was this a joke? Chad was the first to snap out of it, pointing at me and doubling over with laughter. Haha. Ethan, have you been reading too many sci-fi novels? Quantum computing. What comes next? You discover that there's a limit to bull. Even Warren Wagner was shaking his head in pity. Ava must be true. Marcus Vance, the traitor, is anxious to let this clown spew rubbish in order to buy time. I heaved a sigh of relief. He was just lying. How could a house husband possibly know anything? As long as Ava can't give proof, she's finished. But Ava was staring at me with unshakable assurance. Smile. A tiny glimmer of hope rekindled in her heart. He doesn't look like he is lying. His eyes are so serene. Could it be true? I met their doubtful gazes. As I cautiously raised my phone, the screen displayed a live feed from the NASDAQ newswire. With the headline in bold. It was difficult to overlook the red lettering. Whether it was a miracle or a scam about quantum intelligence. Unveils paradigm-shifting breakthrough in AI. Valuation skyrockets 3,000 times. Overnight, I held the phone up for everyone to see. I know you don't believe me, but the facts speak for themselves, and I pressed the screen mirroring button. The enormous projector screen behind the stage immediately lit up, showing my phone screen. Everyone could see the headline and confirming reports from the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, and other respected sources. The crowd fell silent once more, but this time, it wasn't skepticism. It was sheer, unadulterated horror. Chad's laughing ended, and his expression wherein Wagner, locked in a rust of incredulity, dropped his jaw and the water glass. Marcus Vance's eyes rolled back in his brain as he slid out off Deputy Mayor. Thompson jumped to his feet on stage after falling unconscious. In his chair, he ran to the television and adjusted his glasses to read every word. Before anyone knew what a breakthrough of this magnitude represented, it wasn't simply about money. The future. He turned back to me, his stare no longer scrutinizing but filled with a fervent reverence. "Is this real?" he questioned, his voice shaking, and I grinned. I pocketed my phone and looked at the ash-faced Chad Wagner. "Mr. Wagner, Dodo, you still believe Sterling Industries has a financial problem?" I took a step toward him, a man who cannot tell the difference between business dollars and his personal wallet, a man whose sole strategy is to employ cheap techniques and stolen information, a man's entire vision is limited to streamers and backroom negotiations. Adequate gives you the right to dispute my wife's judgment. I allow my complete presence. Chad tripped as his confidence grew with each system reward. He sputtered and sweat excessively as he fell backward, stumbled over a chair, and collapsed on the floor. I gazed down at him as if he were an insect, reminding him that there are people and companies. I turned my back on him and headed back to Ava, who was still sitting there. Her power is beyond comprehension, startled into quiet, but her icy eyes were now wet. I reached out and softly swept away a tear before it could fall. "Why are you crying?" My voice was deceptively calm. "I told you today, you are the star." Her inner universe, however, had flung its gates wide open for me. "Ethan, it turns out that I was the not a freeloader. He is my hero, even if I've never met him before." A significant shift in A.A. Sterling's essential views has been detected, and loyalty has been locked. Congratulations, host, on completing the secret achievement. Heroic rescue reward. God-tier medical skills fragment plus 5,000 system points. Current points 6100. I smiled as a torrent of medical knowledge poured into my consciousness. By now, Deputy Mayor Thompson had rushed over, clutching A.A.'s hand with both of his cheeks hot. Excitement. "Miss Sterling, you are the pride of Olympus City, a national." Hayes turned to me and enthusiastically shook my hand. "Please excuse my prior doubts." "You are too kind, Murdoch Mayor," I said gently. "Not at all," he shouted, waving his hand emphatically. "The Southbridge waterfront project is yours, and I want to prove it to anyone else." Amidst a sea of jealous and arrogant steps, I took Ava's hand in mine, and it was over in an instant, was still frigid. But this time, instead of pulling away, she squeezed back. Her palm was clammy, and his hand was so huge and warm. She was being guided by him, like this. "It's actually not bad. I want to go home with him." I grinned outright. "Let's go home." The drive home was silent but charged. Ava looked out the passenger window, pretending to watch. The city lights blurred by, but her red-tipped ears and occasional sideways glance told me everything I needed to know. I know. He was so great back there, holding my hand. Does he think I'm easy? What do I say? Do I congratulate, ask why he kept all of this from me? Ugh. Being an ice queen is so hard. I listened to her inner conflict and tried not to chuckle. To break the tension, I asked, "What's on your mind?" "And nothing," she answered, sitting up straight with her CEO mask back in place. "Just corporate business." "Oh." I faked her face tightened as she reflected about Marcus Vance, our traitor. How did Chad flip him? "The usual," I remarked casually. "Money and power." Vance had been a vice president for 5 years with no prospect of advancement, and he was bitter. Chad promised said Wagner Corp offered him a senior VP position and $1 million in cash. It was an easy out. His gaze grew colder as I treated the ungrateful serpent. Vance's terrified thoughts provided all the information. I turned the wheel smoothly and added, Ava, remember this. Never the best method to deal with a traitor isn't to force him toward it. It's to make him completely hopeless. He appears to know everything, she thought. Close to him. I feel like a what are your plans, naive student? She asked, and I smiled. The concert is just getting started. I've already anonymously delivered a package to Warren Wagner and the SEC. It includes a recording of Vance's deal with Chad, along with evidence of Chad's embezzlement. Warren will sue Vance in order to protect the reputation of his company. He faces charges of corporate espionage and extortion. Chad, even with his father protecting him, embezzled monies. This is a federal felony. He's in for a lot of agony, and Vance won't get a penny of Chad's money, and he'll spend the rest of his life singing the prison blues. I laid everything out casually, as if talking about the weather. Ava, however, felt a cold run down her spine. That is ruthless. A perfect and flawless plan. It eliminates the traitor. Cripples the competition while keeping Sterling Industries fully clean. This man is terrifying. But why do I feel so safe? Ding. Ava Sterling's sense of security comes through rooftop. Significant emotional volatility observed. Plus 500 points. To looked over and saw her staring at me, her eyes full of interest and devotion. An impulse. They took over. I pulled my car over to the side of the road. What's wrong? She inquired, startled. I didn't answer. I wasn't there. I unbuckled my seatbelt, reached across, and again pinned her against her seat. The comforting aroma of sandalwood surround her. Ethan, what are you doing? We're on the street, she stammered, putting her hands against my chest with no actual force. Oh my God, here we go again. What is he doing? My heart is going to beat out of my chest. I glanced at her fluttering eyelashes and her gleaming lips are parted. My throat became dry. Eva, my voice came out harsh. I recently won you the largest deal of your career. Don't I deserve a reward? A reward? Her mind it was a complete blank. What kind of reward do you prefer? What does he want? Money in the car? What about the house? He can have it. He can have everything. I smiled. I do not want money or automobiles. I lowered my head, pressed my lips on hers. It was silky and delicious, with a slight, chilly scent that was uniquely hers. A short and soft touch. The world seems to pause. Ava was absolutely motionless, her eyes wide with disbelief, and one hand hanging above her mouth. And my head was inundated with unintelligible screamsh. He kissed me. He really kissed me. Niffer's kiss. It's gone. You're a jerk. You monster. You scoundrel. But why? Why didn't I test it? I kind of want to try it again. Ding. 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 Detected. Emotional fluctuations on the nuclear level. Congratulations, host, for unlocking the ultimate achievement. Hard triumphed over reward. 1 times 20% off system shop coupon. 1x random advanced skill chest plus 10,000 system points. Current points 16,600. I gazed at her. There was a gorgeous whirlwind of guilt, fury, and a hint of longing. Satisfied, I returned to my own seat. Okay, I've received my reward. Let's go home. I began the automobile as if nothing had happened, leaving Ava in the passenger seat. Blushing so hard she looked may spontaneously combust. After a lengthy, silent time, she eventually Getty almost missed it since he was muttering so quietly. Idiot, however. In her head, I heard that the rest of the statement is loud and clear. Next time, avoid doing it on the side of the road. My hands tightened around the steering wheel. My two-faced wife was now officially mine, and our story was only beginning.